Just to clarify, is there going to be a amendment in here? I thought I heard you say this, Mayor, about the term of this proposal.
Yeah, two things that we have agreed on with the officers is that there will be a sunset clause for at least this mayor's term. What was the other one?
I do have a question real quick. Let's say this selected individual for commissioner is incompetent, doesn't do the job you're looking for, mayor. How do you remove that person? What is there like
Petition the state.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be fine. I promise.
Just like if you think I'm incompetent, you go to my boss.
Understood.
Voting time. Naturally, I presented this. I vote yay. Liaison of the Police Department, Los Santos.
I vote nay.
Head of bar, former police commissioner, Molten.
Yay.
Head of medical group, or liaison of the medical group of Los Santos, Philippa Cantor.
I vote nay.
Chief Justice, the Venerable Alan Crane. Do not vote.
I am of the assumption that Madam Treasurer will vote nay, and thus the vote will not reach a supermajority, and thus that will accomplish the state oversight that we have referred to, and thus I am comfortable voting yay because I believe in my bosses and the state to curb and repeal this should anything go awry. So I vote yay.
The Lady Treasurer. Deputy Mayor Michael Simone.
I vote yay.
Chief of Staff Siobhan Thoroughbred.
Yay.
The yeas have it.
5-3.
Passes 5-3, which means there's not a supermajority. Thus, everyone can be assured there is state oversight and potential to repeal should the mayor act out of turn.
Good.
Okay, I will go ahead now and I will edit the report into its final form. I will ensure there is a sunset clause at the conclusion of my editing. I will ask that everyone review my notes and edits such that we are all in agreement. This is what we voted for. When we all agree, then I will publish it and I will pass the published version on to the PD.
I don't, I think that's good. I'd also like to say for everyone here, I've talked about this with a lot of people, but Max, I will not hesitate to repeal this if this starts to go off at the first sign of it going off the rails. I will be submitting something to repeal this.
Well, seeing as I will be petitioning you to basically head up this investigation, I hope it doesn't go off the rails.
And what investigation you're looking into, so we can have at least a bit of perspective?
Everything. The goal. Sorry, I don't want to answer for Max, but my perspective that Max and I discussed at length is that this is not a targeted investigation of one thing. This is, as I said, I brought in Miss Wright to help guide me in constructing and orchestrating the city council and our modern form of government. This is simply an investigative panel that will hold interviews with members of the PD should they wish to speak to the panel. And those members of PD can bring up anything they wish. And the panel will then report those concerns, claims, etc. accordingly, and their findings thereof, in which I hold the utmost respect and trust in Lance Moulton and Willie Glory to do so with integrity to the mayor. The mayor then will report that information to the state, and then decisions can be made about outcomes based on that information. Is that accurate, Mr. Mayor?
100,000,000%.
I would also like to add, obviously, nothing is set in stone, but it is my belief that while this may be a team of people, I believe that each person operates differently. I would recommend to the mayor's office, whoever is ultimately chosen as the head of this fact-finding mission, and whatever team is assembled, that they do not reach their results together. This should be 2 to 4 people who go in as individuals, do their own assessment in whatever way they feel is appropriate, come to whatever conclusion they feel is appropriate, independent of the other people who are going in to investigate. And then that is when the findings come together and are presented.
Yeah. The mayor's office and you will discuss the precise methodology to making all of this happen at a later date.
Understood.
I'm a big fan of that. I've said this before when it comes to groupthink, but there's a famous experiment called the lion experiment where they get 8 people in a room, 7 of them are plants and 1 is the subject, and they put a piece of paper in the middle of the table and it has a number of lines on it. 2 of them are relatively close, but pretty obvious if you have a functioning brain, and what we would call a better than lukewarm IQ. Which one is the longest line? The purpose of the experiment is that the 7 planted people go first, and they all pick the wrong answer. About 70% of the time, the subject of the experiment goes with the crowd, even though he knows it's wrong, because he's embarrassed to say his own thoughts and be wrong. So I'm firmly in agreement with Malton that I think an independent assessment.
It was always going to be that way. I informed the captains last night of such as well. Sick.